Baby, I'm the fashion. These shows lined up, I'm on the road.
Kim out in Rome looking like she's turning into Kris Jenner 2.0, because who else would put their 12-year-old daughter in the spotlight like this? North was styled up in a little corset with long blue hair, and the cameras couldn't stop flashing. It's like Kim is running the same old playbook she's always used, calling the paparazzi on herself. Only now she's using her own daughter as the headline grabber. Now, let's keep it real. Kim thrives off attention, that's no secret. But North is only 12 years old, and it's not clear she fully understands the type of world she's being pushed into. Instead of just being a kid, she's walking into rooms where people are already dissecting her look, saying she appears much older than her actual age. That's not because of her. That's because of the environment she's been dropped in. Think about it. North has grown up watching her whole family constantly change their looks, transform their bodies, and reinvent their image every other season. She's seen it all firsthand. So of course she might start to think that's normal, that she's supposed to morph into someone completely different too. But the sad part is, she's only 12 and already getting styled like she's part of a grown-up runway show. And here's the kicker, Kim hasn't really been making much noise in the press lately. Her spotlight's been dimming, her headlines slowing down, so now it feels like she's putting North front and center to spark some buzz again. Some people even think she's leaning on her daughter's looks and presence to get back in the gossip cycle. That's not just dramatic, that's messy. So instead of keeping things private, Kim rolled out North right in front of the cameras. And you can't tell me that wasn't intentional. A mother-daughter dinner could have been low-key, private, and peaceful, but nope, this was staged for maximum attention. And the sad part, all of it is happening at the expense of a 12-year-old who shouldn't be carrying this kind of weight. North already looks like she's been exposed to way too much, way too soon. And to top it off, Kim wasn't even alone. She had friends with her, and of course, they jumped on TikTok together.
Baby, I'm the fashion. These shows lined up, I'm on the road.
It's like Kim can't resist turning every single moment into content. Now, let's zoom in on Kim herself for a second. People were pointing out how she looked tired, maybe even flushed, while out in Rome. Some are whispering about her skin looking stressed, but maybe it was just the blazing Italian heat. Either way, those paparazzi shots didn't miss a thing. And then there's North, walking in massive platform boots that look way too grown for a kid her age. People couldn't stop talking about how she was styled up like she's twice her age, when really she's not even a teenager yet. That's a lot of pressure, especially when every flash of the camera is freezing the moment for the world to judge. And let's not ignore how the paparazzi just happened to be waiting outside the restaurant. Reports say they followed the van from the hotel, some even arriving on scooters to secure their spot first. So when the doors opened, the photographers were already lined up and ready. That doesn't happen by accident. The whole scene feels like it was set up from the jump, like Kim wanted the world to see this, no matter how much pressure it put on her daughter. So while the cameras flashed outside, Kim and North were inside enjoying a full Italian spread. Zucchini flowers, caprese salad, prosciutto, tuna tartare, and of course, plate after plate of pasta. They were eating good in Rome, no doubt about it. And sources made sure to stress one detail: only water on the table, no wine. Which makes sense, because Kim has never really come off as a heavy drinker anyway. But let's be real. The focus here wasn't the food, it was the image Kim put out. Even though they were just having dinner, the internet immediately zeroed in on North's outfit. A corset on a 12-year-old? People were not here for it. Comments started flooding in, with one person flat out saying, "Not appropriate, Kim. Not a fan of a bustier on a 12-year-old." Another added, "What's the over-under on when North falls under the Kardashian knife? This girl's gonna need major alterations if she wants to make the Christmas card." That comment alone had social media buzzing because it plays into the bigger conversation about how the Kardashian brand is built. People were joking, or maybe not joking, but about Kris Jenner being the one to eventually push for changes just to keep the family image polished. Someone even said, Yeah, before Chloe got a whole new face and body, she already had so much work done to look the way she did back in 2012. Ouch. And then came the harsher takes, people saying the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That North is just another Kardashian girl being molded into a product before she's even grown. The criticism wasn't just about her outfit, it was about what it symbolized. Fans are questioning if this is just the start of North being packaged and presented the same way Kim and her sisters have been for years.
Seriously, you're so right. These pics remind me so much of Kylie when she was in her teen. I think she was like 16 or 17 here. And North is obviously 12, but she has the makings of a fashion icon already. She should come on TikTok and do like a little tutorial, or have her stylist do the tutorial.
The dinner might have looked glamorous, but the conversation it sparked, way darker. People aren't just talking about what was on the table. They're talking about what North's future could look like in this family. Now here's where things really get disturbing. People were asking, are we talking about Kim or are we talking about Kanye? Because why is a 12-year-old styled up in a way that even hints at cleavage? Commenters didn't hold back, calling it sick and saying it's beyond inappropriate for a child to be put on display like this. Some even started speculating about cosmetic procedures, which is wild, because hopefully no doctor would ever cross that line with a kid. But the fact that the rumors are even circulating shows just how far this has gone. North is being pushed front and center more and more. Whether it's starring in a stage production like The Lion King or turning heads in Rome, it feels like she's constantly being kept in the headlines. And some fans say she's giving off major young Kylie vibes, like history repeating itself right in front of us. Once those Rome photos went viral, the big question online became, is North getting the right kind of parenting? And when you look at who her parents are, the internet wasn't exactly optimistic. On one side, you've got Kim, who's made a whole career off her image, and on the other, Kanye, who people say North mirrors in personality and looks. Fans pointed out that Kanye would probably hate this type of styling on his daughter. But at the same time, he doesn't have much room to talk. After all, Kim has built an empire walking around in barely their outfits. So the example being set at home is already blurred. And then there's the age factor. People are saying North doesn't even look 12 in these photos, not when compared to what's considered normal for kids that age.
Kanye West was right about everything. He knows the freakos that are watching her now are gonna love it when she's 18. It's like the same way they were passing around Kylie when she was 17 years old and no one said anything. I just feel bad for the West children because you either have to have a mom that wants to sell you for money or a dad that's gonna sell you Yahtzee propaganda. Like either way, you're cooked.
When you stack it up against average preteen outfits, the contrast is shocking. It's not just the clothes, it's the whole styling. Hair, makeup, accessories. The kind of polish that screams adult when she's still just a kid. What's even louder than the paparazzi shots is the conversation online. People questioning if North is growing up way too fast and whether the Kardashians are repeating the same controversial blueprint all over again. It's almost impossible to separate North's image from the weight of her parents' reputations. Her mom built her fame off one of the most infamous scandals of all time, and her dad has been making headlines with his strict demands about how his wife should appear in public. So, when people saw North in a push-up style top, the backlash came instantly. Some were saying she looked too grown, while others argued she looked more like a character from Monster High than anything else. Either way, it sparked a firestorm. Kanye hasn't spoken publicly about North's outfit. No statements, no posts, nothing. And truthfully, some think he isn't in the position to comment right now. Between his reported health struggles, time in rehab in Spain, and his ongoing focus on new projects with Bianca, Kanye's got his hands full. Still, people online are bringing up his old warnings, saying, Kanye was right. Kim wants to expose the kids to Hollywood nonsense. And when you look at how this all played out, you can see why that take is circulating. At the end of the day, North is only 12, and that's what makes this whole situation feel so overwhelming. It's not just about a fashion choice, it's about how the world is being invited to judge a child who should still have space to just be a kid. But to be fair, there were also other photos from their time in Italy, and North's outfit in those moments felt way more age-appropriate. It wasn't all corsets and grown-up glam. Some looks even had softer vibes, and fans noted they gave off more of the playful style North has shown before. And let's not forget, North has been traveling the world since she was little, and Japan is one of her favorite places. She's even mentioned that she speaks a bit of Japanese, and the hairstyle she rocked in Rome had some people saying it looked inspired by Japanese culture. That side of her feels genuine, like her own little flair sneaking through all the Kardashian staging. North has even been out here showing off her Japanese skills. Yes, full sentences. And fans couldn't help but react. One person commented, "This is so cool. I hate being poor." That pretty much summed up the divide people feel watching all of this. Maybe it's not just the clothes or the paparazzi setups. Maybe it's the access to endless money, fame, and privilege that's pushing North into a world way too advanced for her age. And while Kim is the one walking beside her in Rome, let's not act like Kanye doesn't play a role too.
I see white Christmas movie. Who am I here with today? Listen, North, I see you dripped out. Touch your mind. How much the pickles? How much the shades? How much the shades?
I don't know.
You don't know for the shades? Okay, I see the chain. How much the chains?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, I see the shirt. How much for the shirt? I don't know. Okay, I see the bag. How much for the bag? I don't know for the bag. I see the pants. How much for the pants? You don't know for the pants? And I see the kicks now. Talk to me. How much for the rigs? You don't know for the rigs? Wait, hold on. I see the watch. How much for the watch? You don't know for the watch?
North is often called his mini-me, and he's put her in the spotlight himself, even featuring her in songs dedicated to Diddy. So, when people say Kim is to blame, others fire back that Kanye isn't any better. Different styles of parenting, same result. A kid being launched into Hollywood's circus. But while Kim and Kanye's parenting is sparking debates, another Kardashian headline has been bubbling up. Kourtney Kardashian once again battling pregnancy rumors. Every few months, it feels like people are speculating about whether she's expecting again. This time, fans pointed out she's been enjoying herself, eating gelato, plates of pasta, and just living without stressing about workouts. That sparked whispers online that maybe she's pregnant, but honestly, the timing doesn't add up. Let's not forget, Kourtney is in her mid-40s, and she just had baby Rocky not long ago. The little one isn't even a year old yet, so the idea of her jumping right back into another pregnancy seems far-fetched. Still, that hasn't stopped fans from analyzing every new photo, every outfit, every curve, trying to figure out what's really going on. And while the sisters are making headlines left and right, Kris Jenner herself stepped into the spotlight in a big way, opening up in Vogue about her facelift, proving once again that the Kardashian machine never really takes a break. From the youngest to the matriarch, there's always a storyline brewing. Kris Jenner admitted she went under the knife for a facelift about 15 years ago, and now she says it was simply time for a refresh. According to her, maybe every decade or so, it's worth getting things tightened up again. She explained it like this: just because you get older doesn't mean you should give up on yourself. If you feel comfortable aging naturally, do that. But for me, this is my version of aging gracefully. Classic Kris, always framing the work as empowerment. Now, here's where people are curious. Will this new face make its way into the next Hulu season? Because let's be real, that would be the kind of storyline that keeps people glued to the Kardashians' every move. Fans are already speculating, saying they'd love to see behind-the-scenes footage of the surgeon's magic. Because in these photos, Kris does look sharp and polished. One shot showed her stepping out in a bold red dress, giving major glamour vibes, Grandma Kris turning heads like she's 30 again. But some pointed out the photos looked a little blurred, almost like a soft filter or green screen was used. Viewers joked that maybe they didn't want us seeing that facelift in full 4K detail, only in something a little gentler. Still, plenty of fans loved the looks. One outfit was giving sexy J-Lo energy, while another had people split. Some called it bizarre. Others said it was Kris proving she still knows how to take risks with fashion. And lately, she's even been experimenting with more hair volume, giving her a refreshed vibe that feels almost cinematic. With the way these images were styled, some fans even said the shots looked like scenes from a movie. Whether you love it or not, Kris has once again turned a personal makeover into a headline moment. And it feels like just another calculated move in keeping the Kardashian spotlight alive. And just when you think Kris's photo shoot couldn't get any stranger, the last set of pictures had her standing in what looked like a full-on construction zone. Pipes in the background, scaffolding everywhere. The whole thing looked completely out of place. Fans were baffled, asking why Kris, who usually goes for luxury and glamour, was suddenly posing in an industrial setup that made no sense. One person wrote, "No idea why the scaffolding made me laugh, it's just so random." Another added, "It's not even aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't match the vibe of the other shots at all. Terrible choice." People were even joking about her balance, imagining Kris wobbling on the platform trying to hold her pose without tipping over. It's giving awkward, not iconic. But here's where the real heat kicks in. While everyone was laughing about Kris's scaffolding shoot, the bigger conversation online circled right back to Kim and North. Fans are questioning if Kim is really using her daughter to keep the spotlight alive. The word people keep throwing around is that Kim is basically pimping out North to stay relevant, which has stirred up some of the harshest backlash we've seen yet. So now I want to hear what you think. Is Kim crossing a line with how she's putting North out there? Or is this just another Kardashian media play that people are overreacting to? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next deep dive into celebrity drama. I'll see you in the next one, and make sure you check out the video popping up on your screen right now for even more wild stories.